Hello and welcome to Rad Class. Today I'm gonna talk about feedback, and I'm not gonna talk about feedback to me per se. I'm gonna talk about feedback in general, how we give feedback, how we can give it in a better way, and some different ways that you can give feedback and people give feedback in. So, feedback is basically what we live for because every time we do something, we get feedback. We either get it from our own body, our mind, or from another person or something around us. So, feedback is what makes us grow and learn. So, feedback is very important. That is why it's so important that we are aware of feedback that we are giving to people or the signals that we are giving because everything is a feedback. So, I, for once, welcome feedback because it's the way I learn. It's the way I can grow what I'm doing. So, and that's either in my profession or in doing podcasts or when I'm playing games or out with friends or having trouble spelling a word and someone points out that, hey, it's with double E instead of that. And I go like, oh, okay, thanks. Um, but it has taken a while to come to that point where you actually agree to getting feedback. For once, since I'm dyslexic, as I'm stated in one of my other podcasts, getting corrected on my spelling errors for a while, for a long time, was a massive letdown for me every time because I just felt like I was getting hit at the same spot over and over again. And then I reached a point in my life where I actually found out that I was actually okay at spelling. I just needed some help. And then I realized that and embraced the feedback I was given, if the feedback was given in the right way. Because we all know the people who are like very, very touchy about the grammar and stuff like that. And they can at times tell things a bit harsh, and that is not some good feedback. But when I actually asked the people I was hanging around with to actually try and correct me when I was misspelling something, they slowly did. And they took the words I was misspelling the most and began helping with them, and then slowly evolved into the words I misspelled less and less. So now I'm actually doing okay, or so I'm saying myself. Um, and it takes some time before you're ready to receive feedback. But as I said, you need feedback to grow. So there's some different ways you can give feedback, and I'm gonna cover them uh, one by one by giving an example of me doing it and why I did it and the situation around it. So you can like take that and put it on your own life and try and reflect over it. So the first kind of feedback is the one I use the least actually, because I find it very harsh and often unnecessary. But a lot of people just tend to do that as a default, and it's a very aggressive way to do it. And I used it once in a crowded area because there was a homeless man walking towards a shop and he was counting coins in his hand. And then he dropped a coin next to this very buffed man and his girlfriend. And when he reached down to pick up the coin, the the big man just kicked him right in the face, just a karate kick right in the face, right on the nose. So he was bleeding, he was knocked over, and he was like, what just happened?" And I instantly just yelled, "What the fuck are you doing, man? You can't just kick a person in the head like that." And the man was like, "But he came too close to my girlfriend. I didn't want him to touch him because he's nasty." And I was like, "He was trying to pick up a coin. Think before you act, man." And after that, uh, yelling at the start because I had to get his attention, um, I then calmed down and told him slowly that he could either stay now, wait for the police to come because I'm gonna call them because he just assaulted a homeless person, or he could walk away and the police will find him because there was cameras behind us. And then I talked to him slowly, like, why did you do that? Why did you kick a homeless man in the face? And then he actually didn't know what to say because he just reacted out of nowhere and he didn't think about what he was doing. But he still had to pay for what he did. But the way you use that aggressive yelling thing is when someone is fighting or someone is doing something that can harm them in some way. And you do that to get their attention because it can be hard to get a person's attention if they are mid-fight. And if you're not like a big person or something that can just go over and push them aside, a yell or howl next to them would briefly take their attention away from each other and towards you. And then you can slowly and calmly tell them to stop what they're doing. Because when you're yelling, you're actually not de-escalating the situation you are looking at. You are instead making it worse. So only use that aggressive way if it is something to get someone's attention and then slowly calm down again. And I would recommend that you only do it when people are actually fighting or, as I said, doing something that could harm them. Like when someone is running out in front of your car and you're driving, then honk at them or something like that to get their attention because they have to pay attention to the traffic. And sometimes yelling out, "What are you doing?" makes them actually look up and go like, "Oh, damn, I didn't notice that car," something like that. But the way I prefer is actually the calm and just normal feedback. And you can still do this in a calm voice and hurt someone a lot if you do it wrong. Feedback is important to learn and grow. So when you're talking calmly to another person, try and twist the problem away from the person so it doesn't feel as a personal attack. Because if you do that, the person will become defensive instantly and will not be ready to actually hear what feedback you have to tell them. So, for example, if you have someone coming and telling you that, "Oh my God, you're so stupid. Why did you do that? That is dumb," then a person will instantly be like, "Hey, what the?" And then would be defensive and won't actually react to the feedback they need to get. Uh, but instead, you can be like, "So, I noticed that at this station you were working on today, that you had some problems with this machine. Have anyone taught you how to use the machine? If not, then it's our fault and we need to teach you." Because in that way, you make it sound like it's not the person who has a problem, but the company that had a problem, or you as a supervisor who might have done something wrong. And it instantly makes people drop their defense because then they're like, "Oh, yeah, I actually have problems. Why haven't anyone taught me this?" And then you can go in with the feedback and be like, "Oh, okay, you just need to do this and this." So I would recommend that doing that any day because as soon as you deflect their attention away by not making a personal attack, their defenses will drop and you can easily give feedback. And as I said, feedback is something we always need to get, and anyone can use it. So if you do it calmly, and as I said, don't make it a personal attack, don't make it seem personal, even though it might be personal, then try to uh, some way soften it is if it is a personal thing you have to do, because it might be hard to hear. And again, as soon as you get personal, as soon as you attack a person, their instinct will just be like defensive. So think about it before you actually do something. And as I said, feedback is important. It's how we learn, it's how we live, it's how we adjust to the world that we are living in. So feedback is one of the most important thing that another person will give you or that your body will give it because you get feedback all the time. As soon as you touch something, you get feedback. Is this good? Is this bad? And remember to take it with a good heart when you're getting feedback, because most of the time people are not trying to attack you. Most of the time people are actually just trying to help you, but it might come off as an attack. So try and be calm, try and listen. And if someone is telling you something that is very personal and you become very defensive, try and look at what I've said and disarm yourself a bit so you can actually hear the feedback, because sometimes feedback is hard. Like if you have a person who smells very bad, it's not that easy to actually go over to a person without kind of hurting their feelings and going like, "Oh my God, you smell." And it's something that I cannot give a recipe on how to do, because no matter how you do it, it will be a personal attack because it's the person. So even if you're like, "Oh, I have a gift for you, it's a deodorant or something like that," it will still be perceived as an attack on their smell. So try and be calm about it and try and disarm them, disarm the defense before you go in, by mostly just saying that it's not because they're a bad person or something like that, but we have some problems with you're older. Do you need to get an extra shower in during the day at work or something like that? You know, just try and diffuse the situation first. Remove the defense, give the feedback. So this has been my, hopefully, a useful guide at giving some feedback and the best way to do it. And I hope that you enjoyed this. And as I said, I don't mind feedback. So if you have feedback to my show, feel free to give it. You can find me on Facebook, on Reddit, on Instagram, and Patreon. So come and give me feedback if you think I have something you want me to adjust, make over, or something like that. This has been Rad Class, and I hope you have a pleasant day. Bye.